Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Great Day Houston. Our first guest caught the attention of Oprah, featuring him in one of her life classes. Like her, he didn't let other people's expectations become his limitations. At 5'6", JJ Moses was among the shortest players in the NFL at one point. He played for several teams and after retirement made Houston home. Part of his passion was in his DNA. His dad was a star player. The other part of that passion, as I see it, is in his last name, Moses. Remember, that man parted the Red Sea. Okay, former Texans player and current motivational speaker and the author of Focus, the Prepare to Win Mindset, JJ Moses joins us with a game plan for life. Good morning.
Good morning, Deborah. How are you today?
I'm
excited.
good.
I feel like going out and playing some football and reading a book. Let's do it all today.
Let's do it all.
Go.
I remember when you first got here, you've always been such a light, not only for the Texans team, but in our city as well. But I want to back up a little bit and talk a little bit about your life before you got here. You're from Waterloo, Iowa. Now, a lot of players, when they retire, they may head back to their hometown. But I saw the weather forecast. You're not heading back to Waterloo, Iowa.
I mean, the weather in Waterloo, Iowa, oh my goodness, it's like -6 degrees. And so I've been in Houston for about 20-something years, but my family still lives in Iowa. But I mean, the snow, the weather, like I can't get used to that. Like, that's unreal now. My blood is thin now. Being in Houston and Houstonian, it's like now when I feel it's like 40 degrees, I'm freezing now.
You're right. Did they ever cancel school when you were growing up because of this?
Never. But now we'll cancel school, it seems like, for 50-degree weather here in Houston, but it's Houston.
All right. Do you remember the first time you put a football in your hand? And it wasn't unfamiliar to you because your dad was a football player.
Yeah, I mean, the first moment was, I've always grew up in an athletic family where my dad, my uncles, my cousins, they all played sports. And sports was just a vehicle or an avenue where we just utilized our God-given talent and not realizing that playing in the NFL or playing in college was going to create just awesome opportunities. But my dad, Deborah, was such a dynamic influence on my life. He taught me of how to be a father, just a great person overall, but he was such a humble person. And that's something that I would always remember about my dad, just how he treated people with respect and all that. So
Yeah, Jerry Moses, there he was there. And he was slated to, a lot of people thought could have gone into the NFL, but he had an injury.
Yeah.
And so with you growing up, did you ever feel kind of in you is that you would do the unfinished business?
Well, it's funny because if you look at my dad when he was living, Dad is 6'2", and I'm only, what, 5'6"? We're about the same height.
Yeah.
And so it was.
Well, I wear heels, so I'm a little taller.
And it was one of those things where, I always just wanted to, please my parents. And, at a young age, I just remember watching, my dad and just watching how he carried himself, him and my mother both. And then I just started continuing to work on my craft and working out and just being able just to play the game, and it just opened up so many doors.
Yeah, well, you broke rushing records. I mean, you did all kinds of things, and people they had to keep paying attention to you. There is a moment where I think kids are about, they're all one little size, right?
Yeah.
And then they have their growth spurt. And so when did you realize, oh wait, okay, my growth spurt's not necessarily going to keep going,
right.
But that doesn't matter. And is it a mindset shift where you kind of go, okay, I'm going to have to do other things?
Yes, it was a mindset shift because I already knew that I was against all odds. I think I would read statistics that mention 99% of athletes will not make it into the pros, especially if you're standing only 5'6". But what I began to do, especially at a young age, was to have this focus type prepare to win mindset, which allowed me, Deborah, to overcome the odds. It allowed me to go against the naysayers, and it allowed me to handle life's most difficult, situations, or, when you're dealing with a setback, how do you navigate life? And so,
especially like when I started out with, other people's too many of us do this. We let other people's expectations,
that's right.
Become our limitations. You received a full ride scholarship, Iowa State. You're named Cyclone Most Valuable Player your senior year. You led Iowa State to a bowl game, awarded, the alumni loved you. It was like, go JJ, right? All that stuff. And then the moment you went into NFL, did your dad see that? Was he around to see that?
Yes, Dad saw that whole opportunity and just that moment of making it into the NFL. And I tell people about this, and it's also part of the section in the book, Focus, the Prepare to Win Mindset, is the importance, Deborah, of being prepared for your opportunities. And so after my senior year was over with at Iowa State, many of the coaches and agents thought that I was too small to play. And so I continued to have that dream, and I continued to work out despite, Deborah, not having an opportunity. So after my senior season was over with at Iowa State playing wide receiver, I got a random call from my quarterback at the time, and he was getting so many tryouts from many different NFL teams, in particular the Kansas City Chiefs. So he called me and said, can you come to our practice facility on Saturday? I need somebody to come and catch some football. So I said, me and being Mr. Positive, absolutely, let's go do it. So Saturday morning rolls around, my quarterback's doing a phenomenal job. But as the workouts continued to go, Deborah, the coach from the Kansas City Chiefs started taking down notes, and he walked over to me. He reached out and shook my hands after the workouts and said, Moses, today you have just made it into the NFL.
Wow.
So I went into that workout, Deborah, just to serve a friend, but God blessed me to walk out with the NFL contract. He had other plans. And so since that workout in 2000, I have still eaten its fruit, so to speak, and still been involved with the NFL for over the last 23 or 24 years, just being prepared for that opportunity.
Yeah, because you played several years, right? And for different teams. You also played in Europe. And then the decision to retire. It's always, especially when you've been playing ever since you were a kid, it has been your life. And in fact, you had me come in as a guest speaker with one of the things that you did with the Texans, and it was kind of life after football. And when you're number 99 playing football, or you're the quarterback playing football, it's one thing. But when you're behind that helmet, behind that jersey, and the game is over, what are you going to do next? And so for most athletes, it's a moment of, gosh, this is hard to leave and reinvent myself. I remember talking to Clyde Drexler, though. He goes, "Are you kidding me? We're doing full court." I needed to go. I was whatever age it was. But for many athletes, that's hard. Was it hard for you, or were you welcoming it like a new opportunity?
Well, I understood this, that the NFL stands for not for long, especially if you're only like 5'6". And so it's always that pedigree within my mindset that I knew at the end of the day, football is what I did, Deborah, but it's not who I was. And I wanted to make a purpose, and I wanted to utilize the platform of being a professional athlete to help individuals to grow, not just being a great football player, but how to be a better, effective communication, to speak, effectively, or to be able to have healthy relationships, or how to balance life or work. And what better person to bring in to talk to our players was the one and only Deborah Duncan. And when you came in and spoke to our players about the importance of effective communication skills, how do you give a proper interview? How do you speak properly? And I thought, no matter what, you're the excellent person, Deborah, to help these athletes. And so anyway, that was a fun time to collaborate with you.
Your Prepared to Win program was so critical, because so many of them, kind of after the game's over, it's like, bye, thank you.
Peace out.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. And so many of them are lost. We see it all the time in news headlines, right? So Prepared to Win program, based on just like a lot of things that your dad taught you and things that you learned.
Absolutely. And within that 2 years of working with the Houston Texans, the NFL ended up ranking the Prepare to Win program the #1 professional and personal development program throughout the whole NFL. But it all started with you as well, Deborah, for being a part of that, because you helped guys along the way. And it's a blessing when you're able to share your life lessons, what you've learned in your career, and how to deal with life, and to apply it to these younger guys that's only in their 20s or 25 or 19 years old. How do you manage finances? How are you able to continue to move forward and be the best version of yourself?
Because that check doesn't keep rolling in forever, right?
Going, no.
All right. Speaking of the Texans, today's Texans. Once a Texan, always a Texan, I'm sure. But it's interesting when we watch the teams. I think sports has so many metaphors for life. You can have everyone on that team. In fact, every NFL team has great players on it. Whether you can be the last place team, you got great players because it's the cream of the crop. But it doesn't mean that you bring home a Super Bowl. What's different about this team, the energy, how it's made up, how it came together, that you can tell?
I think it's #1, it starts with leadership. And D'Amico, when he came down from San Francisco, he's always been like this as a player and then as a coach, but he brings this positive vibe, and he connects one-on-one with each player. And players gravitate towards that when they see that you're just not a football number, but it's somebody as a leader that genuinely cares for the players. It makes players continue to play at a higher level that they didn't think was possible, and that's exactly what you're seeing with D'Amico Ryans and just the impact that he's had within a year. It's amazing to see this.
And that comes from a lot of stuff he went through growing up, right? How thankful he is. You mentioned God a couple of times. Your faith is also very important to you. You were an usher at Lakewood.
That's right, and so faith has always been.
JJ, can I sit up front? I'm sorry, Debbie, you're going to have to arrive on time to it up front.
Well, faith has always been a key component for me. Of course, being growing up in Iowa, where I didn't have a lot of the credentials, I didn't have the resources, and as you could tell, I don't have the physique of an NFL player.
Yeah.
But what I did have, Deborah, was my faith in Christ, and it has enabled me to handle life's most difficult challenges. When I lost my father, I've lost my job before, but being able to bounce back and having this focused type prepare to win mindset has allowed me to navigate life and to really be able to, we have like a lot of challenges or a lot of, things in our life to try to discourage us. But I've always tried to remain focused on the main thing.
Yeah, and because
your
your idea of self is not external. It's not by being somebody's son, although you love your dad. It's not by your job that you had. It's from the inside out, right? And no one can take that away from you. You have been a role model in so many different ways. You got some hometown recognition. You're the first one to get the key to the city back in Waterloo. But it's cool when you can be that role model for people. You, as we mentioned, done motivational speaking.
Yes.
You have your program and the focus, the Prepared to Win Mindset book. Who is this book for? I would say everybody.
Wow.
But who in particular did you have in mind when writing this book?
When I wrote this I took this idea of not just for an athlete, but for anyone. If you want to have healthy relationships, or you want to go into a dream job, or if you're dealing with a situation where you've made so many mistakes in the past and you're still holding on to resentment, Focus, the Prepare to Win mindset, gives individuals the ability to just, first of all, acknowledge what their distractions are. I read a survey that mentioned 3, Deborah, out of every 4 workers are distracted. And distractions, we all know this can affect productivity and also professionalism in the workplace.
Right.
And so I know firsthand the importance of remaining focused. And when there's a system or even a program in place, 75% of individuals say they feel happier, motivated, but check this out, purposeful.
Yeah.
When you are focused, it leads individuals to your true purpose, and that's ultimately what we're trying to find in life, is our purpose. What are we created here for?
Yeah, and I find this book very useful, especially in my ADHD household, right? We can focus, but the key is, do you like it? If you like it, you will focus. It's like laser focus, right? With that said, I think this is, what you're talking about needs to start early in life. Is really kind of a parenting plan as well. So with that said, how do you deal with your children?
Oh my goodness, so we got 3 kids, my wife and I got a 11-year-old, an 8-year-old, and then a 3-year-old. So pray for me, Deborah. We need some help. I mean, but the family, it's beautiful. It's one of those things where we just talk to our kids about the main thing is just being the best person you can be. Treat your mom and dad with respect, and and have faith, and continue to believe, continue to know that the sky's the limit. And with our book, Focus, the Prepare to Win mindset, my wife helped me write this book, and she was step by step along with this process. But it's overall, we just want to instill the values and the beliefs that we've learned growing up, and to allow our kids to flourish, especially in today's world.
Yeah, all right, I'm going to end with kids in sports. That's in the headlines right now. But so many parents look at their children and think, okay, they're going to make the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, they're going to, right? As opposed to letting them play and get what I think can be some of the most value out of sports. What is the value that you got out of playing sports, whether you ever played pro or not?
I think the biggest thing was not to force the dream. My dad never forced his dream or his beliefs on me. He just organically let those talents and dreams to come outside of me. And I see a lot of times, Deborah, where you'll go to a school or a high school game and you'll see the parents yelling from the crowd, hey, don't do this or do this. And I believe overall, as a parent, the best way you can really kind of help, with your kids is just be there as support, whether if they make the game-winning touchdown or if they drop the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah.
Either way, your support is always strong. And that's a little bit what I talk about in terms of Focus, the Prepare to Win mindset, is just being able to utilize your influence as a parent to help your kids as they continue to navigate their life.
Yeah, JJ, thank you so much.
This is
I
awesome.
adore you. I'll see you at rodeo time.
Let's go get it.
Okay, we're going to get it, and we're going to be eating some ribs and everything else. All right, JJ's book, Focused, the Prepared to Win mindset, is available wherever books are sold. And for more information or to connect with JJ Moses, head to our website, greatdayhouston.com. Again, great motivational speaker for your